So how do you actually do shadow work? Hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com, and if you're new to Wicca and Witchcraft and you want to find out more about how to practice Wicca and Witchcraft, hit the subscribe button below so that you don't miss anything. In this video, I want to show you what you can do with shadow work and how you can start working with shadow work. Shadow work is something that has been quite popular in modern Wicca, and particularly in second degree for particular covens who study shadow work. It is an aspect of the mystical side of the work, and it really is important to our magical practices as well, because what's going on the inside affects what's going on the outside. It affects the magic. So it's not just about influencing events and people, it's also about what's going on inside ourselves and how we're influencing the results or the potential of our magic to actually have an effect on the outside world. Shadow work is something that comes from Carl Jung's work. He was a psychotherapist and quite a mystic in and of himself. A lot of his beliefs, a lot of his philosophies came from mystical experiences that he had. So you could really say that Carl Jung was as much of a mystic as many other mystics. It's just that he applied a lot of his mystical knowledge to experimentation with his clients and was a bit more practical or applied really in his mysticism than some mystics who just come up with the experiences, but they're not necessarily being applied to the real world. So Jung did that, and a lot of the references to the shadow work are always in reference to Carl Jung's work. Since Carl Jung, we have had a lot of breakthroughs in psychology, in neuroscience, and in a lot of modern modalities that have come about to be able to help us with the shadow work. So shadow work now in the modern age is something that isn't as difficult to do, because we have modalities that can actually help you release some of that really icky feeling and icky stuff around shadow work, which wasn't available so much in the past. Energy psychology, for example, like emotional freedom technique or tapping, hypnotherapy, some Gestalt techniques, matrix re-imprinting, all these sorts of things are really helpful in shifting some of that really dark aspect and energy around shadow work. And that is my passion. That is something that I really enjoy working on with people, is the shadow stuff. So over the next few months, I'm going to be introducing some ways that you can be using some of these techniques to help you with your shadow work in order to be able to help you with your spirituality, with your sense of connecting to yourself, connecting to nature, connecting to the divine, and of course, making your magic a hell of a lot more powerful. So with shadow work, what I am going to show you is something that a lot of you probably have come across. If any of you are into Franz Baden, any of that sort of more ceremonial magic aspect or the occultist side of the magical tradition, you would have come across his work and the black and white mirrors. So the black and white mirrors are that you write down, so for the black mirror, you write down 100 things about yourself that you don't like, that are considered not acceptable by the mainstream culture, that you don't want to have as part of who you are, or that you feel is causing a problem for you in the world. So it's not necessarily that it's deemed bad, or even that you feel bad about it in the moral sense. It's more what's stopping you from moving forward. That goes in the shadow side as well. With the white mirror, it's all of those things you like about yourself that are acceptable about yourself. And the interesting thing, and I'm not going to go too much into the white mirror, is that a lot of people really struggle with the white mirror. And particularly if you are a heart-centered person, if you are on the magical path, mystical path, because you are wanting to experience the really positive aspects of yourself and life, you may find that you can be really judgmental and really critical of yourself when it comes to the black mirror, but not having so much luck on getting those 100 points on the white mirror. So Try the black mirror and white mirror for yourself, and I really do encourage you to really work on the white mirror. But today I'm going to talk about the black mirror. So with the black mirror, you're writing down the qualities about yourself that you don't like, that you feel are stopping you from moving forward, and that you don't want to admit that you have. Okay? So that can be things like selfishness, narcissism, racism even, things about yourself that you don't want to have, but you kind of know that at times you run into these things. And some people struggle with this because it's really hard sometimes to write down things about yourself that you detest about it, like you might detest it, and just know if this is wrong, it doesn't even make sense to be like this, yet I know that I fall into it occasionally. It's not about judging yourself. It's really important you don't judge yourself in this exercise and that you don't criticize yourself. You just put it down there. So you try to find, under Barden's guidance, it's 100 things, okay? For this exercise, I would say just try 10 to start off with. And then come to picking one of them, one of these points. Maybe it's selfishness. Maybe you know you can be really selfish and you don't want to be selfish because you are told by the general culture that you should be giving. It's all about generosity and giving, and all giving, and when you give, you know, you'll get back, and abundance, and a lot of that sort of new age stuff that's going on around law of attraction and abundance, where let's just give, and you'll get back. So the part of you, your ego, which exists to keep you safe, to keep you alive, is going to sometimes not want you to give. And depending on your past experiences in your childhood and your experiences growing up, that may be stronger in you than other people, or maybe weaker in you than other people, because all of your past will inform how your ego reacts to a situation. So if you find yourself not perhaps being as generous as you'd like to be, or somebody's telling you you're being selfish because you're not doing something they want you to do, and you're not feeling good about it, even if you may feel you're justified, but you're still not feeling good about it, you're beating yourself up about it, you think you shouldn't be selfish at all, you shouldn't have a selfish bone in your body, yet you find yourself going through selfish moments and you're beating yourself up. This is something to work on, okay, without any judgment. So I'm not going to say that selfishness is right or wrong, because selfishness can really, in the light of selfishness, it's really just you taking care of your own needs. And there are times in your life where you do need to put yourself first. And doing the shadow work is about learning to discern when those times are, without guilt, without judgment, where you're not harming yourself or necessarily harming yourself or harming anybody else by making the decision to take care of yourself in that instance. You can make much more informed decisions when you are in alignment with you, when your shadow is integrated and when you're not judging your shadow. And what happens with that shadow work is when you stop judging yourself for being a certain way, you actually become less of that anyway. So if selfishness is something that you're grappling with, and you do the shadow work around selfishness, you will still be able to take care of yourself and say no when you need to say no, and take what you need to take. But you'll be much less selfish about how you do it, and less selfish about how often perhaps you do it. It actually makes you less selfish, even though you're embracing it and integrating it into your life. So this is an exercise that I would like you to do, I encourage you to do, to help you to start to feel more at ease with a shadow quality and how to begin work with a shadow quality. Like I said, I am going to introduce other techniques along the way, but this is just a really simple one for you to do when you're meditating. So you're just taking time when you're meditating one day and feeling into the feeling of how you feel when you think about selfishness. How does that feel in your body? Where do you feel it? If you're feeling shame or guilt about being selfish, where are you feeling it? Whereabouts in your body are you feeling it? It's going to be a physical feeling, because the emotion associated with the selfishness, with that sense of self-preservation, which is why you're going into selfishness, is going to be fear, it may be anger, it may be guilt, it may be shame, all at the same time. Where are you feeling these feelings, these emotions in your body? Because emotions are felt in the body. They're produced by the nervous system and they're felt in your body. And feel the feeling in your body, and just breathe in to the feeling and just allow the feeling to be there. Allow the feelings to be there. Don't try to get rid of them. You're not trying to change anything at this stage. You're not trying to do anything at this stage except observe. This is about observing yourself and allowing yourself to be where you are in this moment. A lot of the discomfort that we feel when we're doing shadow work is because we're fighting the feeling. We're trying to run away from it, we're trying to deny it, we're trying to get away from it because it doesn't feel good. And of course we want to run away from it. But it's actually the running away from it that makes it worse. It makes it feel worse. Running away from anxiety makes your anxiety worse. Running away from anger makes anger worse. It's about just allowing yourself to feel it in your body, allowing it to be there. Because it is just a feeling that's running through your nervous system. That's all it is. It's chemicals running through your nervous system. That's all a feeling is. When you allow it to be there and just focus on the sensation of the feeling and just focus on it as a sensation, not trying to do anything, what you will notice over a period of maybe 5-10 minutes is that those feelings start to settle down. And you start to enter a calmer feeling with that. And this is where you start when you're dealing with shadow work, when you're dealing with anything that is difficult for you emotionally, is just allowing the feeling to be there, observing it, not judging it, not trying to run away from it, just being an observer of what this feels like in your body. And because it's getting your attention, and because you're allowing it to be there and you're not fighting it, you can listen into it and it may tell you something. You may get images doing this, you may get feelings, you may get memories coming up for you when you're doing this exercise. Just allow it to be there. You're not fighting it, you're just allowing it to be there. And what you'll find is that icky feeling, whatever the feelings are in your body, will start to settle down and your body should start to calm down. You will also feel resistance to this. Believe me, you'll feel resistance because you're not going to be used to doing it. And your ego is actually going to fight it. Don't worry about it. Just go, okay, I hear you, ego. I'm just listening right now. And spend some time doing that and journal. Write down in your journal, if you have a magical journal, what your experiences are from doing this. And you can go through this experience with all of the shadow qualities that you've listed in your black mirror and see how you go with that. And if you want to find out a little bit more about how your shadow aspects can be influencing your practice, like maybe they're stopping you from practicing or something, excuses, not enough time, don't know what to do, all of that kind of thing, I have a free PDF and it is called The 3 Vital Ingredients of any Wiccan practice. And it's basically the 3 things to do before you even think about starting any type of magical practice or daily practice. And it's things people don't think about, but it involves you tuning into yourself, really getting to know your why you're doing this, and getting to find out what may be blocking you to moving forward in your practice. And this will relate into shadow work as well. So I've got the details to that below this video. It is a freebie, so I do encourage you to go and check it out. Other than that, if you like the video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, share it with your friends, and comment. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.